I don't even have to say. Have you seen Dolly Madison? What a babe. Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to. But you probably should. You probably are. Hey, that's why we like you here over at the CF podcast, the CFP. Here's one way you can support us this week. Hit us up on patreon.com/chillfiltered. That's a great way to support us and get a part of our drink alongs. Hey, we'll probably be doing a drink along this coming weekend because we said we do 2 in May. So you can be a part of that in the future if you get on the $10 tier or more on patreon.com/chillfiltered. There's more to it than that. You get to be a part of an amazing community, and you get to get some goodies otherwise, like a cool stemless Glencairn and nice stickers and stuff like that. But that is the way you can join us for drink alongs, and that is the business for this week. Otherwise, life is life and stuff.
Well, I want to hear you talk about your life, because I spent the entire last episode talking about New Zealand.
Did you? Oh, I didn't even notice. Dude.
Well, I mean, pretty much. I feel like I haven't heard what's going on with you lately. So what you got? What's going on?
I'll tell you one thing. I got my hair cut this week, and by saying that, I mean it got a lot more than normal, as you might be able to tell by this short length. So what happened was I've been doing my hair for over 15 years. I just do a one length buzz cut at a number 2 guard. And I feel like that's like a quarter, or maybe more than a quarter inch. It's probably ½ inch or something like that. Maybe a little less. I don't know. We'll figure it out another time. But it's the 2 guard, and I'll just do that. I'll just, do my whole hair and then take a shower and I'm good. Like, that's it. And then, so this week I did that during my lunch break on Thursday. And then no issues like normal, except I did feel like in the back, I'm like, I think I missed a spot. So I'm going to follow up on that in a moment. So I put everything away before that point in the cabinet, and I clean up pretty well, after I do it all, even the hair everywhere. I just make sure I clean it all up. And then I come back to, just follow up and just get the back real quick. And for some reason in the cabinet, the guard fell off the clippers. And I just went straight clippers to head by trying to clean up a little section. And I felt it, and I knew exactly what I needed to do right away. And then I was like, guess it's all going.
Keep going.
You don't want a hole in your hair, right? Like to the skin, right. Basically. So
yeah.
It's been
and when your hair's that short already, then the differerential is huge. It's like part of your hair is half as long as the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was the thinnest, the shortest it's been since one point in college. I had it this short.
Yeah.
So that's a while. And but things are good. I could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse.
True.
I could have had long hair and that happened to me. I could have had, where it would take a lot longer to grow back. It'll take 2 or 3 weeks to get back to my normal level. So I shouldn't be nice, put off the target too much. So
yeah. Plus, I imagine, is it getting kind of hot in Virginia? What's the weather like?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's worse or better. Like, it feels sweaty all the time. Maybe it's normally all the time sweaty. It's just weird. Yeah, so I don't like it. But otherwise, life's good. The girls, we're sending out birthday party invitations for their birthday next month.
Oh yeah.
My parents are coming to visit too in 3 weeks.
Very cool.
3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks from today. And that should be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Mm-hmm.
Is your mom bringing you a certain something that she found somewhere?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. My mom found at a yard sale, she found a 1968, I want to say, bottle of Seagram's 7. Yeah. And that's cool. But I looked it up on Unicorn Auctions, and it's only worth like $75 or something like that.
I thought you were going to say like 35 or something.
No, it's better than that. Yeah. But it's still cool. I love dusty bottles. So, and it's unopened, of course. It's still got the seal on it and stuff. So I'm excited about that. I like that. And I feel like that's like always fun for like bottle shares, because you got a cool story behind it too. So
totally. Yeah. And I mean, like, it is the most unique thing. I mean, this bottle is 20 years old. Does anyone want to try, or sorry, 50 years old. Does anyone want to try 50-year-old bottle of something.
Yeah, at this point, it's almost 60 years old. Yeah.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. We're old, man.
I know.
We're these pre-millennium kids.
Yeah.
And now we're like coming into mid 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, not really. It's like saying 35 is middle age, but it sort of is. It sort of is.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. 35 is certainly when yeah, right. Yeah, 35-year-olds are ancient. Yeah, it's like when you're 35, everything starts to ache.
Yeah, exactly. So your birthday's coming up, and we have a tradition on the podcast to give fun gifts for birthdays.
Ooh, do we?
So I got to keep that. Yeah, we did it last year. Remember, I got you
I know. I'm just...
okay, good. Yeah. But yeah, I got to think of something to get you.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard,
and yours isn't too far behind either.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks after yours, 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. So I got to think of something good. I do have something I'm going to send you, but it's not birthday worthy. But it's like, here's the story. It's a mostly full bottle.
Okay.
That I think you'll like more than I will.
Bryce Morita style. I like it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, exactly. we should definitely name it that. Yeah. Old
I know,
Bryce Morita gift. But Bryce is amazing, and he has given full bottle gifts for sure.
No, I know. It is definitely a meme. It's not a serious thing.
Yeah. We love Bryce. I was thinking about him yesterday. What a guy.
You mentioned the high fives last episode too. Was it
last episode?
It was last episode.
Dude, Bryce Morita is the new Ben Klepsig.
There you go. Everyone gets their time in the sun.
Yeah, a season. Yeah.
Yeah. The season of the Morita. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Morita season.
Man, when he makes margaritas, does he call them Morita margaritas?
We gotta ask him. You gotta respond. You gotta comment on YouTube, Bryce. Yeah. The or maybe like the Marg-Moritas.
Yeah, I know. I was like, how do I mash these two together?
Marg-Moritas. It's simple. It's easy.
Marg-Moritas. Yeah. Marg-Moritas. That is it. It's Marg-Moritas.
Marg-Moritas. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. For sure.
That's even better. That's better than Mag-Moritas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought of a really good D's Nuts jokes recently. You know how there's like saying like Andy and like something like Andy and you're like Andy's nuts. Like Andy? That's like lower level D's Nuts jokes.
Yeah.
I thought of one the other day, but it has to be like well prompted. You kind of gotta like wait until someone says something. And someone will say roaring 20s. And you'd be like, roaring 20s, more like roaring 40s, roaring 40s nuts.
Four D's. Oh, I like it.
Yeah. So someone out there laughed.
It was a pity laugh. Yeah.
That's the best I can do. At least, organically, that's the best I can do.
Good. Nothing. So, we, here at the Chill Filtered podcast, we love organic.
Yeah. What bottles are behind you in the? Oh, there's the New Zealand bottles that. With the cases. Yeah. Did you crack them yet?
No. I will. I'm totally going to.
You already tasted them though, didn't you?
Yes, both of them. Because the bourbon and sherry finish, I tried straight out of a bottle that they had open, but they didn't have an open bottle of the Pinot Noir. So then that's when I wheeled and dealed my way into the barrel house, and so we tried it from the barrel. So anyway, so I have tried both. They're both very good and all open soon, but it's kind of like it's a little harder since they're 375s. So it's like, because I'll have a tendency to when I get a new bottle, I open it up and I try it, and then I try it again the next day, and I pour a sample for Cole, and I whatever. So it's like if I do all that with the 375, it's gonna have like a third left by the time like the first week is over after I open.
Very reasonable assumption there.
I'm a little worried about it, but it is supposed to be drunk, so I will drink it.
Oh, you better drunk it.
Drunk it.
Drinking it is the correct grammar for the record.
There you go. Yeah.
I hate to correct grammar, but drinking it is.
I've got this This is some of the messiest my area's been back here. I've got bottles in front of bottles, and I've got samples all over the place back here. Like, if you could get more of a in focus top down shot behind me, it is in complete disarray. But thankfully, the focus of the camera kind of keeps it fuzzed out. So it's like, you know what? If I duck down, you'll see it here.
Oh, there's some dark arts on the left there.
Yeah, not too bad. I have one bottle. Oh yeah, that one there.
Yeah,
the green. Yeah, that's the dark arts rye, which may or may not show up on the next Two Pick Tuesday.
Oh, truth.
Yeah.
What's the one next to it? The maroonish label one.
That's Tom's New Zealand whiskey there.
The corn one.
And you know what? I misspoke earlier. I think I called it
Red
Clarksville. No. I think I called it Clarksville. It is Clark.
There's a Clarksville, New West Virginia.
Singular Clarkville. That's what it is. Let me double check.
Yeah. No, there's a Clarksville, Virginia.
Yeah, it is Clarkville, to correct myself from last episode, which will not be the only correct myself from last episode that gets.
Oh yeah, we got to do a correct ourselves.
That's whiskey world news. As a little teaser, we'll just shoot the breeze about that.
Stand corrected. I'll say that a little bit ahead of time.
Teaser. I like it.
What are you entry buzzing on? We're probably entry buzzing on the same thing.
Yes, we are kind of. I had Sam pour me a blind of the 2022 Bourye and the 2025 Bourye. And so I don't know which one's which. And I will say they are very close in color here.
Really?
You can kind of see. I don't know. I know the 2025 has a 10-year age statement. I don't think any previous ones had age statements. Wait a minute. It does. I just never knew this before. The 2022 on the back of the bottle, it says all whiskeys in this blend are a minimum of 10 years old.
Nice.
So Bourye's always been 10 years old, but
no.
I'm doing them blind here. No idea which one's which. One stands out.
When we drink the real, like the review for the episode, how are you going to handle that?
I am finishing this blind while we shoot the breeze.
Nice.
And then starting fresh
for science
when we pour for real. Yep, I did this same thing on a previous episode we did. I can't remember what it was, but I remember being like, "Here's what I'm entry buzzing on. I'm entry buzzing on what we're drinking today."
Nice.
You were like, "What?"
Yeah, come on.
The classic. Bryan always has to try something before we do it on the show. But anyway, one of these, and again, I don't know which one's which, but one does come across a little youthier and a little more like vegetal celery-ish, and one comes across a little more well-rounded, a little more sweeter bourbony brown sugar. So I'm really interested to find out which one's which, but
me too,
we'll figure that out later.
I'll tell you why later. But how are you doing otherwise?
Yeah, good. Very excited for tomorrow. We're recording on Saturday today. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Yeah. And it is,
First
technically
Mother's Day for your
wife. Technically, she was a mother last year, I guess, technically. But anyway, this is the first
no kidding.
ex utero.
Yeah, ex utero.
Yeah.
The baby came out. Yep.
Yep, sure did. I was kind of keeping it a secret, but then last night or this morning I was like, no, let's talk about it because it's going to be fun for her to know and anticipate, and what she wants to dress Emma in might be affected by the fact that we're going to go to the aquarium. Emma's first trip to the aquarium. There's a nice big one in North Scott, or I guess it's kind of mid Scottsdale. It's called the Odyssey Aquarium.
Okay.
And we've been there once. I think we were there maybe 8 years ago, or it was right after they opened, whenever that was. But Emma's only 10 months old. It's a little more for us to see like what she keys in on, if she keys in on anything, and to get to see her watch some fish in a tank and stuff like that. So, but I am going to take my nice camera right here, and
that one.
Yeah, this one right here that you're watching me through right now.
Yeah.
I'll try to get some really good like what's it called? I don't know, glamour shots. We'll say,
Yeah.
get some good glamour shots with Sam and Emma on Mother's Day.
Nice.
Should be good.
Cute. Are you going to do anything at home with Mother's Day?
I do have a fun, also little gift surprise thing for Sam. I'll have to tell you about it next episode, though, because I think she can probably hear me right now, and I'm not going to reveal what it is.
No, I'm down for that. We're gonna do breakfast in bed.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. And then I got a few gifts for her as well. So
nice. Oh, he looked over his left shoulder.
I forgot to wrap them. It is. Yeah.
They're in the secret whiskey room where she's not allowed in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she wouldn't walk in here. Yeah. So yeah. And then yeah. So, and then we're going to like some like mansion thing that's like free. It's like a museum type thing in Richmond, but they have food trucks, and we'll do the morning stuff, and then we'll go to church, and then after that we'll go do the mansion-y thing that she brought it up. She's like, I want to do that with the kids. It's like a fancy, like, I don't want to say like, old school, like it's cool brick mansion thing that turned into a museum that they're like, we'll just make an event out of it. So,
well, yeah, I was imagining like a historic house kind of thing. Like it's a house that's been around for 150 years
easily.
And something.
On the East Coast here, out in Richmond especially. Yeah, it's probably been around for that long ago.
Very cool. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hard thing is that in Richmond, the historic buildings are pretty cool, but then half of them are like legit plantations. So it makes it a little more
controversial.
Weird. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy in the Civil War.
I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we have like a lot of that kind of stuff, and we're even like like there's a lot of Confederate like monuments that have been taken down in the city and stuff like that. But there's even a really cool cemetery in Richmond that houses, or whatever you'd say, 4 presidents are buried in this Richmond cemetery, actually.
Wow, that's cool.
I want to say like Monroe is buried here, I want to say. And he was one of the first. He was like number 5 or something like that.
I'm not I know. I was going to say, I'm not a history guy at all.
Wait, what was James Madison? He was 4th?
I know that name. I know that.
Yeah. That's where I went to school, James Madison University.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Undergrad.
Did any curriculum specifically revolve around him because of the school name?
Not necessarily, but there was a class that I took, an American history class. And the teacher was very, he was very, I wouldn't say he was serious or strict, but he was very to the point. Like he was like, hey, this, like he was very scheduled in his teaching. So he was like, all right, now that we've talked about this, we're going to talk about this. And now we're talking about this, we're going to talk about this. And he took a moment to discuss James Madison. And he's like, all right, we're going to take a little aside here and talk about how awesome James Madison was. And he's like, First of all, he woke up every morning to like a steak and a cider or something like that. And he's like, like a hard cider. And he's like, and then secondly, he's like, I don't even have to say, have you seen Dolly Madison? What a babe.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that. It had to been an episode more than a year ago. But I remember that. But talking about cider, man, I was expecting more hard ciders in New Zealand, because of like British influence. But really, no, that like the only ciders I was running into at bars in New Zealand were like huge, like conglomerate brewery. There wasn't any like local cider.
Angry Orchard.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Or like, I mean, like bigger company than Angry Orchard kind of thing. Like their headquarters is in, I don't know, somewhere in Europe. Like it was all like huge name stuff that I was expecting more craft ciders, but it was a little let down there a little bit.
That's a bummer. Isn't New Zealand known for their apples too? Am I crazy?
I don't remember
Maybe
hearing
I'm
anything about
crazy.
apples. Yeah, there
We gotta
were.
ask. Yeah.
We definitely drove by some like orchards.
Uh-huh.
And with all the fall colors and everything, that all
Yeah.
like fit in. The idea of like apple orchard stuff fit
Yeah.
in really well. But I didn't really see anything major that implied that like it's one of their biggest exports or anything like that.
Yeah. We gotta ask Joel Bradbury. He is not New Zealander,
Mhm.
but he is somewhat close, so he would know. Hit us
Mhm.
up, Joel. And Joel, congrats on doing better with your cast and stuff. He
Oh
recently had an
yeah,
injury,
that's right.
and he's doing a lot better apparently. So shout out to that guy. We love
Did we
him.
say? I think we did last episode. So we'll say it again. Another congrats to Marco and soon to be CEO. He got his
CEO,
master's in
yeah,
mathematics. That's a big deal,
hmm
man.
that's better than I got.
Marco, tell us what your celebration pour was.
That's a
What
great
whiskey
question.
did you drink when you got your
I
master's in
know,
mathematics?
knowing that guy, I know he had a celebration for us. So yeah,
I'm sure
let's
he
do
had
it.
something set
Yeah,
aside for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into the history?
No, sir. I got
All right.
not much else going on other than being excited about Mother's Day.
I like that. Mother's Day is something great. You got to be intentional. You got to know what you're doing.
For sure.
And I'm big into that. So have fun tomorrow. And
Hmm.
I hope that our love of whiskey. No, I'm kidding. Um,
Peace.
Peace. All right. We'll be right back after this short break. Bryan, you ever wear a pair of sunglasses and think, wow, I wish these would self destruct by lunchtime?
Every time I leave the house, Cole, if my shades don't spontaneously combust by 2 p.m., did I even live?
Then Dibbles single use sunglasses are for you. The only eyewear designed to barely survive one wear and then dramatically fall apart like a soap opera villain.
That's right. Each pair is made from 80% recycled popsicle sticks, 15% regret, and 5% whatever was on the garage floor.
They come in stylish collections like Beach Trip Emergency, Left Mine at the Gas Station, and of course, Bachelor Party Hangover Edition.
And don't forget their signature line, oops, all lenses.
Dibbles single use sunglasses because permanence is a prison. And sometimes your eyes deserve a one night stand.
Available wherever sketchy souvenirs are sold and in the back seat of Dibbles 98 Corolla.
All right, we're back. Some notes to get to. There will be likely a drink along next weekend, this coming weekend, by the time this episode comes out. We'll get you
Very good. Very
details
good.
on Patreon. And there will be some details on Instagram too, but those who have the samples already couriered to them, keep an eye out on Patreon. So we're talking High West Bourye today, the 2025 release. This is actually our 5th High West product on the podcast. And this is our 2nd Bourye we've ever done. I don't even know what the vintage of the last episode we did it on, but it was published in January 20th, 2020, right before all stuff hit the fan. And that was
Wow.
episode 83. So let's assume that was the 2019 release for all intents and purposes, or
Intensive
intensive purposes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew it.
Yeah. You never know. It could be intensive.
Yeah,
And that's what I always thought they were saying. Like, it was
I
like
know
intensive
everybody.
purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody thought that.
Yeah. That's good to know. High West Distillery. We're talking about that in the history today. Established in 2006. I don't know why I started with 20. It's 2006.
20
Yeah.
6. Yeah.
2006. That's cool. By David and Jane Perkins. High West Distillery became Utah's first legal distillery since Prohibition. David Perkins, A former biochemist was inspired to pursue whiskey making after observing the parallels between fermentation and distillation during a visit to a Kentucky distillery. Unknown by this podcast, at least, what that distillery was. I want to say it was Maker's Mark. I want to say it was. I didn't look it up this time. If I remember correctly, I think it was Maker's Mark. The original distillery and saloon are located in Park City proper, like literally on Main Street in Park City.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever been there? You ever been to Park City?
No. I was close a couple years ago, but it was like, should I drive over there to the tasting room? But while I was there, I just didn't have time. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I've been there with actually Robbie and his wife and my wife.
Very cool. Nice.
And I think I've been there twice. Yeah, I think I have. I went with Deadlows and then with my wife one time we went there. But I think we didn't even stay the second time we went. We just like checked it out really quickly. But it's mostly like a restaurant when you get
That's
the
what I thought. Yeah.
It's in Wanship or Wanship. I still don't know how to pronounce it. I should probably look that up. In outside of the Park City area, it's the town is called Wanship or Wanship. Don't know how to pronounce it, but
got it.
But apparently in Park City, they restored a 100-year-old livery stable and adjacent historic house to make it their like restaurant / like kind of front for their business. But yeah, nice. It's Wanship or Wanship where the larger facility is going, where there's increased production and blending capabilities, as well as some of the barrel storage. So High West is renowned for its transparent blending of sourced whiskeys with its own distillate. Not all the time that they're both, not all the time that they're just their own stuff, but you'll often see either their stuff, other people's stuff, or maybe all other people's stuff. For example, I think what we're drinking today is 100%. No, it is not. What we're drinking today has a little High West distillate in it.
Figured.
Anyway, initially, the distillery sourced, aged spirits from MGP and Barton in Kentucky, as well as potentially other places, to craft unique blends such as the original Rendezvous Rye. Over time, though, High West began incorporating its own pot-distilled spirits into its products, gradually reducing reliance on sourced whiskey. The blending process is central to High West's identity. They're big into blending. It's almost like barrel, big into blending and finishing and stuff.
While we're on the whole blending conversation, you specifically mentioned Barton. So I take that to mean, you saw definitive evidence somewhere that they sourced.
I saw Wikipedia evidence, so not definitive evidence.
Yeah. So generally trustable evidence.
Yeah.
Did you see any mention of MGP? Because I had in my mind.
No, 100%. MGP is the main one. Did I not? No, that was what I said. Aged from MGP in Indiana. And then Barton.
Might have missed that.
So, no, you're good.
Cool. So MGP definitely, Barton a little bit too, probably, and then maybe even others too? Or do you think it was just those two?
There is at least a mention on even today's whiskey that there is another potentially non-Barton whiskey distillate in the final product.
Okay.
So their core lineup is first of all, their double rye, which is a blend of young and older rye whiskeys, offering a balance of potentially old and new flavors. They also have their American Prairie Bourbon, which is a blend of straight bourbons, typically aged from 2 to 13 years, named in support of the American Prairie Reserve. Then there's the Rendezvous Rye. Originally, it was a 6 and 16-year blend of ryes, but now it includes High West's own distillate, resulting in typically a younger profile these days as opposed to what it used to be. But maybe it's getting older. You know how that works. Time heals all wounds.
Time ages all bourbon. That's what they say.
Exactly. And you can't fake time healing all bourbons.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
And then the other one would be Campfire, which I do believe is not exactly now that I think about it, isn't Campfire a yearly release?
I think so.
Yeah, so I shouldn't have mentioned it was in the core lineup. But anyways, unique blend of rye, bourbon, and peated scotch, creating a smoky and sweet whiskey. Other limited and seasonal releases, one we know well is a Midwinter Night's Dram. In fact, the last episode we did with a High West whiskey was Midwinter Night's Dram, a seasonal release featuring rye whiskey finished in port barrels. Then there's the Bourye Rye, what we're drinking today, the blend of bourbon and rye whiskeys, offering a harmonious combination of the two. And then there's High Country American Single Malt, which is, an American single malt showcasing High West's own distillation. And then there's one that we didn't mention is Prisoner Share, which is finished in, I believe, Dave Finney Prisoner barrel, wine barrel casks. Yeah. And then one I didn't mention, well, it's not really one of their core products or even their limited. One time the first time I went to their distillery, I had an oat whiskey, and it was actually pretty good. Lightly aged, but really bright on flavor. I loved it.
Nice.
We should get into oat whiskey. We should start oat whiskey. We're going to be the oat whiskey peeps.
Yeah, start an oat whiskey podcast.
Yeah.
All oat whiskeys all
Asian
the time.
oak. Yeah, exactly. Like, this oat whiskey is the best, and then you have 2 more episodes and you're done.
Right.
Yeah. But what we're drinking today, like I mentioned, High West Bourye Rye 2025. Minimum 10 years, 92 proof. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I saw one source that was like, hey, it's 100 proof now.
Nah. 46% on both of these. 2022 and 2025 were both 46%.
Blend of bourbon and rye. It's a Bourye Rye, people. If you haven't figured that out by now, we don't blame you. You're here for the ride. You're here for the history. Don't assume. We don't assume. Non-chill filtered. Hey, that's the name of the podcast. The rye portion, get this, is 95.5 rye from MGP, as well as 80-20. That's 80% rye, 20% malted rye from High West Distillery. Good for them having a product over 10 years. The bourbon portion on the other side is 3 portions. It's, first of all, MGP, 75 corn, 21% rye, 4% malty bees, as well as another MGP component, which is 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malty bees. And then lastly, an unknown Kentucky distillery had a 78% corn, 10% rye, 12% malty barley. The, what do you call it? The total wine price. It's about $125.
Oh, really?
What'd you get it for?
Last year, I paid $120 at a Safeway. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Last year it was like 85, I think.
Oh, dang.
And Total Wine does this thing. PSA,
where they post last year's prices.
Yeah, very, very first day that a new release hits Total Wine, it's still in the system as the last year's price. And this exact same thing happened with the Maker's Cellar Age too. When Maker's Cellar Age dropped in Phoenix on day 1, it was still last year's price, which was below MSRP for 2024. So if you got it on day 1, you got it for the 2023 price. Yeah, I know. And then it updated when Cellar Age hit again later. It was like $40 more or whatever. So exact same thing happened with Bourye Rye. If you caught Bourye Rye on day 1 at Total Wine in Phoenix, you paid like 85 for it, and then the next day it was like boom, 120 or 125 or whatever it is.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you got a cork pop?
I do.
Even though you've already poured.
Let's a special treat for the YouTube viewers and not for the podcast listeners. Look at this. Okay. I'm going to hold up the 2022 Bourye Rye label to the screen.
Very different. Look at that. Very different. Look, it's vicious. It's going to bite you.
Cute little rabbit with antlers. What's a jackalope? That's what it's called.
Jackalope.
It's a cute little jackalope. Sure.
Wait, it gets cuter.
New artwork for the 2025. Look at this.
Look how cute that little guy is.
Look how
Yeah.
and he's winking and everything. How cute is that? That jackalope. Okay, so now that you've seen this adorably cute and very good artwork jackalope,
Yeah.
let me hold the old one back up. Look how shitty this looks
Disgusting.
compared to the new one, man.
Run.
Look, the face on that guy is like
Yeah.
it just looks it looks weird
Vicious.
and it
Yeah.
looks gross. Now that I've seen the new one, when I look at the old one, I'm like, this
Yeah.
guy looks disgusting.
Yeah. Get that guy
All right.
get that guy a makeover. All right.
Cork
Cork
I
pop.
almost said pork chop unironically. I almost accidentally said pork chop. I got a cork pop for you. Here you go. It was kind of weak, I guess.
No, it
We
wasn't
did
weak. It wasn't
we
weak.
opened it a little earlier to do my blind, which I will reveal the results of the blind later. I haven't even looked at the note that's in my pocket here to see which one's which.
Great nose.
Yeah.
You know, I've had some Bourye that stink. And this is
like not High
one of
West,
them
like
so
other
far.
Bourye.
Yeah, my first Bourye I had was Jefferson's Chef's Collab. And I was like, this stinks. It's like mustard notes.
Yeah. Mustard. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. It was weird.
That would I guess I could see like a herbal bite, like that, like horseradish nose burn from
It's
mustard.
like
I could see that coming from a really stanky rye.
Yeah. Ooh, this is even better than the 2022, in my opinion. This brings forth more rye notes to me. I would, if I were to guess, I would guess this is a rye because it's got some of those hard candy notes, and I didn't know it was this good. I haven't given High West a sniff for a while, but this is pretty good. I dig it.
I thought so. I haven't sipped yet because obviously I know what's in my hand now. I know that this is the 2025, and I thought it was going to be immediately obvious on the nose, even which one it is, but I'm not sure which one from my blind this was. On the nose, I'm getting a really good like cola kind of sweetness. It's but at the same time, I'm getting a little hint of rye spice that's almost mistakable with a youthy heat. And again, I'm just on nose notes right now when I'm nosing. There's a sharpness here that I'm not sure if it's youthy heat or if it's rye spice, but it's a nice blend with that sweet cola notes.
I can see that cola note a little bit. I do think this is actually like it's got a matured developedness to it. You can tell there's a good age on it. Like it's definitely not youthy to me.
Yeah. There's a buttery viscosity here too. I think it actually it's a little mouth coaty. It's a little oily, a little mouth coaty while staying
Mouth Cody Clark.
Mouth Cody Clark. Shout out to Mouth Cody Clark. I hope we're the only people who have ever said that sentence. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. It's like the nose. Like Richard Patterson's the nose. Cody Clark's the mouth.
The mouth Cody.
Forgive us, Cody.
It's mouth Cody. Every time I say mouth Cody now, I'm gonna think of Cody Clark. Gross. God. All right, let's move past that. I like the viscosity here. It's a good medium thickness. It's got butteriness. It's got cola-ness. I did take a sip, by the way. I'm on palate notes now. This is just kind of pleasant all around. There's nothing that's jumping out as like a dang, this is really good. But at the same time, it's just like a pleasant kind of everyday sipper level so far.
I will say this. I added a few drops, and the nose is amazing. Nose is fantastic. Let's see. Let's go over the sip.
Nice. I'm dropping. There's a lot in here. I'm gonna go 3 drops. A little more droppage than normal here. You know what?
Still
also,
great. Still great on the palate.
Glass. It's pretty oily, leggy. Well, maybe not leggy, but it really coats the glass.
It really does.
I feel like if I let it sit there for a long time, it takes a while for the legs to start showing.
It really does. Whatever that means.
They eventually show, yeah. Man, I'm getting a little banana on the nose now too. It's not as pungent banana candy like Jack Daniel's, but it's there's a little caramel bananas Foster thing going on here for me too on the nose with water.
I'm not getting that, but it's sweet. It's like, I mean, it's a fantastic water pour. You don't get that good on a water pour all the time at all, especially for American products. I find that American products are usually the hardest to get a good water pour for. I think I might like the water pour a little more than the neat pour, which is crazy.
I think a youthiness showed up on the back end for me with water. It kind of made the finish turn into a little hotter and sharper experience with water, but it did round out the front palate notes. The water did it made it a little more mellow, a little more marshmallow. It kind of brought out a creamy thing that just kind of blended all the traditional bourbon notes together. In general, I will say I'm way more on the bourbon side than the rye side.
Really?
I think if I were to guess, if this was Reentry Buzz,
bourbon.
If this was Reentry Buzz, I'd be guessing bourbon. Do you think you'd still be guessing rye?
It'd still be rye. Yep. It's
interesting.
way hard candier than it is soft candier.
Now that you say that, I do get a lot of hard candy on the nose.
I just dropped a cube. And it is good. It is good. We'll see.
Oh, dang. That's way too much for an ice pour. All right. I hope the ice pour is good because I poured way too much here. You know what?
It's good. It's not better.
Good, but not better. All right. Well, obviously, I have to do it for science.
You got to do it for the science.
Got the cube in there. Mr. Bus Driver dropped a cube in my.
Oh, he dropped
blend.
it. Oh, he dropped it. What do you think between these 2022 and 2025?
That's a great question. So, my guess of which one I liked earlier was the 2025. I think 2022 was the one that came across youthier and sharper and a little more herbal. So let's see if I was right. The right Glencairn was. Wait. Door. Hold. I have to decode what my wife wrote down.
Nice.
I think I was wrong. I think the one that I liked more and thought was more mellow was the 2022. And my Erkigsnet Glen here was the. Oh yeah, that's what she meant. Because I told her the art style. I was like the old art style or the new art style. So yeah, it's this 2025 that I said was a little more came across the youthier and a little more celery vegetal than the 2022. But
I think I like completely disagree? A little more. No, not by much. They're very close, but I think I like the 2025 a little more. They're both great. I think the 2025 brings out a little more hard candy for me, which I dig.
Oh my god!
And a little more, what do you call it? A little more matured.
My wife is bringing my baby into the kitchen, and it's just the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life.
Nice. Hi, Emma.
If only she could hear you. I have earbuds in.
Nice. Yeah. I know. But anyway, in spirit, one day she'll hear me.
One day.
Telepathy.
One day, man. Let's spin off a dad podcast where we just gush about our daughters the whole time.
Did I tell you that I got the YouTube channel Girl Dads? So like if we ever want to do something, I already have the handle for Girl Dads.
I had no idea. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's
like,
intriguing.
Dude, if I do a second podcast, it's gonna be that. And like we'll do things like how to braid your daughter's hair and like stuff like that, where it's like how to do your best and we'll talk about these things. but we'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, this is hard because my daughter was very emotional and I wanted to handle that in a good way, but here's where I failed and here's where I succeeded. Yeah, stuff like that.
I like that. The first thing that you said, like how to braid hair and stuff, that's short form content. Like if somebody's tuning in, all they want to know is what do I do with this hair that's in my hand right now? So that's like that's a 3-minute video tops, But the discussion of like, here's an emotional breakdown that just happened. Like that's the like I'm commuting to work and I want a 30-minute episode kind of thing. So I don't
keep an eye out,
maybe
peeps. Girl dads.
One of these days, man.
Yeah,
we could have
change the background for that one.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. We'll get all the My Little Pony
dads,
pretty princess stuff on
exactly.
the shelf.
Unicorns and rainbows and hearts.
Yeah, for sure. God, how amazing would that be?
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
And yeah, it's just like talking about being a girl dad.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the YouTube channel called Dad How Do I or How something like that?
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's the guy who I think he never had kids. You tell me.
No, he never had a dad.
That's what it was.
And then he had kids and he's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have any advice on this. So he's like, well, I'm going to learn everything and then I'm going to teach everything. So it's a great channel. I
think back to the whiskey.
I guess.
I just finished my ice pour. It brought everything down a level across the board.
I agree. It's not bad.
Yeah. It's definitely not bad. And I actually kind of like it still with ice. But it brought the sweetness down a level. It brought the youthiness down a level. It brought everything across the board down a level where it's like, if I was going to hammer this whiskey by the pool, I'd do it with ice. That's the most obvious statement I think I've said this whole episode. It made it more just like a forgettable, chuggable whiskey. Cause so if you want to chug whiskey, put ice in your High West Bourye. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a bad option for ice.
Yeah.
It's just better, neater water. Yeah.
Better, neater water. Were you neat or water better?
Nose was much better on the water pour, but I think the palate was a little better on the neat pour.
You know what I need to do for science here, real quick?
Science.
Since I got stumped on which was which here, I just
double check
more than that. Yeah,
let me pour a little ice jar.
Little more of the 22. I wish we knew. Actually, in the history searching that you did, was there any indication as to how this whiskey blend has changed over time, over the years?
I didn't find that out. No, nothing.
I imagine that's super proprietary, but I was curious if there were any like theories or any hot takes that you saw as you were researching stuff.
Nothing that I found. No. But of course, it has changed over the years because they don't have 10+ year rye distillate, and they didn't have that in the past, of course.
That's true. The finish is better on the 2022 to me.
Nice.
The finish on the 2022 lasts longer. It's more of a pleasant spice that tingles longer. And the 2025 is more of a. If I wanted to give a pour of one of these to somebody who's been drinking whiskey for a while, I'd give them the 2022 because I think they'd appreciate the finish tingle. If I was going to give a pour of this to somebody who's not really a fan of whiskey at all, I would give them the 2025 for the same reasons that like I would suggest they try like Elmer T. Lee. Like I think it's more of a well-rounded, nothing's going to upset you about this. The finish is going to be really mellow and pleasant. That's the 2025 for me relative to the 2022. Yeah.
I think I'll give this a rating, a numerical score of just a 9. I think this is good. I think this is just barely hubba to what. But I think like the candy notes I was digging, and the age and the maturity really shows forward with this pour. And those are things I like about it, are the age and the hard candy notes. So
nice. So I'm struggling I think I honed in real quick on whether this clearly stands out, which is a B, or if it just has more pros than cons. It definitely has more pros than cons. It really has hardly any cons at all.
I agree.
Which is what's pushing me more towards my B level. I think my B level is well above average, because average is just C.
It's definitely above average. Yeah.
Forgettable. I think, there's hardly anything to complain about this. If you're not comparing this directly against something else, and if you're just drinking this completely on its own, you're not going to find anything unpleasing about this at all. So I'm going to go with B. It is well above average. It clearly stands out because it's so agreeable, and it's really pretty delicious. So I guess, what does that mean for the 2022? I guess I'd give the 2022 a B plus, because the finish, it's a little more aggressive. It's a little more, the finish has more spice on it. It's more of a unique pour, but they did a really good job with the 2025 of making this be like a sweet, mellow cola experience. So that it's a flat B for me.
Flat B. I wonder what we gave it. I could probably look it up, what we gave it in episode 83.
Right.
All right. Now that we've talked about ratings, I think it's time for our next segment of the show. A segment that we like to call Whiskey World News. All
right, everybody, welcome back. This is Whiskey World News, and today is a very special day. Today is a day where we backpedal super hard because we were totally wrong. I said, I think if you quote me, I might have said I would bet money that E.H. Taylor is not going to be in the BTAC line, and it's just some sensational grab article, whatever. But turns out it's actually true. E.H. Taylor is going to be in this year's 2025. There will be an E.H. Taylor in the BTAC lineup. So there will be 6 bottles in the BTAC lineup. No one knows anything. If you go Google anything right now, what month is it? May. If it's May and you're listening to this, there's no more information available. Nobody knows how many years it's going to be aged or anything at all. Yeah, but it's,
I don't know how that guy knew ahead of everyone else, and there's still no press release.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten a press release.
Yeah.
So I guess, technically Buffalo Trace hasn't actually said anything, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
not from what I've heard.
What we did see is we saw that there was a coming bourbon
an interview
label.
Oh, yeah. There was a label.
The label actually went through the TTB. So actually, oh man, tinfoil hat. Is my tinfoil hat around here?
Bring it up.
We don't actually know what year it's going to be released.
Not a bit.
So
yeah, we don't even know if it's going to be this year.
Yeah, I know. So maybe I'm spreading misinformation here, because what I said earlier was in 2025 there will be 6 BTACs. Technically, we don't actually know, because there's not an actual press release. This could be something that they're not planning to do for the next couple of years or whatever. God, I'm backpedaling again. This is terrible. But nonetheless, the news here is that a label went through the TTB for an E.H. Taylor that will presumably be in the BTAC collection.
Yeah. So, first of all, I was wrong. And I accused last week's article writer of being a bad journalist, and I was wrong, and I apologize. But outside of that, if you were just reading this episode or reading this article to me and I knew it was all 100% true, I do have some thoughts. And I told you this in a weird conspiracy theory text the other day. But
it's okay. I have my tinfoil hat on.
Perfect. My first thought is, okay, 100 proof BTAC mash bill number 1. Okay, so that's cool. Don't we already have one of those? 101 proof mash bill number 1. I don't know
Cole,
if it's going to be well aged.
100.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, how much different is? I mean, I imagine it's not going to be 17 years or more. Honestly, let's be honest. If they're not putting an age statement on it, it's probably not going to be as old as. It's probably going to be like the Thomas H. Handy. It's going to be like 6.5 years. and 100 proof. It's basically going to be E.H. Taylor's small batch.
To clarify what you just said, the label that went through the TTB did not have an age statement.
No age statement, nothing. And so, but then my thought was, I thought about something else, and I looked into it. And someone on Instagram mentioned something that I actually had to do research and double check their work. And so someone said, you know how Bland's is owned by Age International, which is a Japanese company? Well, apparently that's not 100% the story. The story is basically mash bill number 2 is owned by Age International. Wow. So that means like Elmer T. Lee, Hancock's Reserve, Rock Hill Farms, those names, or all those big names, are all owned by a Japanese company. That's why we're not seeing what I originally theorized would be the next BTAC release, would be a mash bill number 2 release. So that's probably why we're not seeing a mash bill number 2 release. And for the record, we're all assuming that E.H. Taylor, the antique collection bottle is going to be mash bill number 1, because every other basic, like small batch, single barrel, and barrel proof, are all mash bill number 1. So, but there have been some special editions. Like, for example, Seasoned Wood is wheated mash bill. And, and like 4 grain. It's not the standard mash bill number 1. So there are some differences, but I doubt it's that. Yeah.
I remember being wrong about that. The 4 grain, I just assumed that it was a blend of whiskeys from different mash bills. But you corrected me a while ago. That the mash itself was a 4 grain mash. I swear it had to have been almost a year ago, but I swear you corrected me, and it was true. I looked it up myself, that it was actually a mash of 4 grains. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, E.H. Taylor's pulling some. I mean, Buffalo Trace is pulling some cool moves. But then I thought, okay, now that we know that mash bill number 2 is likely out of the picture, then what are we doing here? Like if you were to add cast strength wheated bourbon, you already have 12-year-ish William LaRue Weller. But what if you were just to do a well-aged wheated bourbon? That would be different for the antique collection, but that would be competing with Pappy Van Winkle at that point, which is also co-owned in a way by Buffalo Trace, and this is the competition is another non-brand of Buffalo Trace, even though it sort of is. And then you're like, okay, so what do we do with this wheated mash bill? I mean, this rye mash bill, and you're like, well, we already have Stag, which is about 15 years at a high cast strength, and then we have Eagle Rare 17, which is old but 101 proof, and so there's not much like area to grow in there unless we were to do some sort of other rye. But we already have a cast strength young age, and then we have like a high age low proof and a low age high proof. So it's like, where's room? If we can't do mash bill number 2, where's the room? That's my thoughts.
Your thoughts reminded me of a very interesting thing. So do you remember the Weller 18 label that was approved?
You mean the 19? Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. 18. Yeah.
I couldn't remember what it was. I Googled 19 first, and like what I was looking for didn't come up. So I Googled 18, and it's Weller 18.
Okay.
But Weller
it was a different
18,
mash bill.
Well,
and it was a wheat bourbon or wheat whiskey, right?
The tinfoil hat is still on. That's what we think is it's explicitly says on here, wheat whiskey. The Weller welcoming the rest of his family into the industry with Weller wheat whiskey.
That's not the rest of the family.
18 years. I know, right?
We need corn in there. A lot of corn.
I love the idea that they're doing some interesting things with some interesting mash bills.
They're charging a buttload for it.
Yeah, no, I know, right? Yeah.
I wonder what the price will be of it next year. Yeah. But you remember Weller 19, right?
What? Oh, that was the original.
And it was 90 proof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Dude, you wonder what those are running for. It's got to be like $5,000. Yeah.
I've literally never seen one on secondary in my life.
It's a cool bottle. It's a really cool bottle.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you look it up.
Well, I know Weller Millennium was like $6,000 MSRP or something like that.
Oh, dang. So it's got to be that. It's got to be like 10 grand for. Wait, we gotta look this up. Yeah, unicorn auctions. Yeah, but
yeah.
no,
Are you looking
it's
for
very interesting stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Weller 19. No way. No way that is obtainable by any mere mortal.
Yeah. Let's find out real quick. Okay, here's one. It sold in 2024 for only $4,225.
Very surprised.
Yeah, I would expect more for a W.L. Weller 19 year.
It must not be that
only
good.
It was like 1 or 2 years, and that was the 2001, the first batch of the NT collection. That's crazy. It's a beautiful bottle.
You know, I was doing some Googling recently, and I was like, if I wanted to own a bottle that was distilled the same year that I was born, which was 1986, what could I find? What could I get?
Yeah.
And so at first I was like, Saz 18. I was like, BTAC that has the high age statement, Saz 18, Eagle Rare 17. But Saz 18, the tanked batches, what was distilled in 1985
lasted for like 7 years.
Tanked. Yeah, I know.
What about Eagle Rare 17?
Eagle Rare 17, I think it was, do the math real quick. 6 and 7 is 13. So 2003, the 2003 release of Eagle Rare 17 is what was distilled in 1986. So I might need one of those.
So one sold in 2023. Forget this. Only $1,380.
Is this unicorn auctions?
Yeah. Do we trust that? No.
Well, we trust that, but you have to add 20% on that because
good to know.
There's fees and there's shipping. So that person whose winning bid was 1,300 really had to pay 1,600 or 15, whatever, in order to get it to their door. Which honestly sounds
another
about
one that was
right.
1,700.
Yeah. Oh, on unicorn auctions.
Yeah.
Oh, so
one was this was sold in 2022 for $2,100.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
On unicorn auctions.
Well, you think about the one I got. I was like, added up.
Yeah, but
that was 2014.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, and yours was a one-off 1 year, like it was a special thing on its own. It's not like if there's a lot of the market of people who want an Eagle Rare 17. Specific year hunting isn't as much a thing. Right? Like if Eagle Rare 17 was only made 1 year, you'd expect the price to be way higher.
That's a good point. That's like seasoned wood versus Eagle Rare 17. Yeah,
exactly. So seasoned wood has bonus points on Eagle Rare 17 because it was actually
they don't make that anymore.
Yeah, and they only made it one time.
Yeah. All right, where are we at? Should we skip on our next segment?
Yeah, we're skipping into what whiskey would you choose?
Skipping a John to win a John.
Yeah. We are skipping into what whiskey would you choose, where we asked you within the last week or so, hopefully, which whiskey in your collection refuses to die. It's gotta be a bottle that you own. It's gotta be a bottle that's actually open. What did you open? And it's been sitting around for far too long. And this was posted to Instagram by Cole, who neglected to actually ask the question correctly.
I'm like, who did it better?
Whiskey? Yeah, I know. So if it was me, I would have said something like, if presented with these two whiskeys, which one would you choose or not choose? It was put up against Buffalo Trace Kosher Rye Recipe or Shanks. Which one is the more forgettable? Which one is the least grabbable whiskey between Kosher, Buffalo Trace Rye Recipe, and Shanks? The winner was Shanks, actually, which was mine. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Shanks won 58% to 42 against Buffalo Trace Kosher Rye Recipe, 42%. Got some write-ins, though. We got Cody Clark writing in. He says, Dark Arts single malt. Oh, I didn't even know Dark Arts made a single malt. Tastes like apricots, though. That's
But is that a
sitting
bad
open.
thing, or is that like a hold on to it kind of thing? Hit us up, Cody.
It's got to be a bad thing. It's got
I
to be.
love
If Cody,
apricots.
well, I do too. But man,
Yeah.
remember the Peachios, the Nulu
Yeah.
Peachios, the
Those are
Matt
so
Porter
good.
Peachios?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. What was the
Love
Cody
it.
Clark joke from earlier?
Mouth Cody.
Dang it. I shouldn't ask because
Yeah.
I don't want to remember.
Yeah,
All
you'll
right. We
remember.
got Dramhound writing in. Dramhound says St. Cloud Batch 2, beautiful bottle, but
It
the
is a beautiful bottle.
whiskey is not for me, says Dramhound. I don't even know what
That's
St.
a
Cloud is. Do you?
Minnesota. I think it's a Minnesota brand.
Man, what's up with those
See.
northern United States whiskeys?
Yeah.
Just kidding. I love Driftless Glen. Shout out to Driftless Glen. That's how
Ayo.
Marketer wrote in. Ben Klepsik says some Total Wine Spirit Direct over oaked bourbon.
Oh yeah.
A friend left behind after a party. No one touches it.
Say no more. Yeah.
Yeah, make some old fashions out of that. Oh, wow. Okay, I just realized the last two write-ins here we got from Whiskey Shaman and Whiskey with Max both say
The same
Blanton's.
thing.
And what
Yeah.
Whiskey Shaman says, I took it to a whiskey tasting and it sits at the house. No one wants it.
That's funny.
Not surprised. It's a little, it's overlooked now. The people who wanted Blanton's 2 years ago don't want Blanton's anymore. And the people,
Hmm.
like my brother who are new to the market now,
Yeah.
looking for Eagle Rare. He's not looking for Blanton's. He's looking for Eagle
Interesting.
Rare. More
As he
obtainable,
should.
cheaper. Yeah, totally agree. Totally
Delicious.
agree. I have a question for you, Cole, now, and I
Bring
did
it
not
on.
run this by you. Did not run this by you ahead of time. And
Okay.
this is it. This is the question that should have been asked to the Chill Filtered listeners years ago.
Hmm.
The question is, do you ever actually add ice to your whiskey? Do you add ice to your straight whiskey? Do you drink your whiskey on the rocks ever on your own accord without being asked by the Chill Filtered podcast to add
Yeah.
ice to your whiskey? Do you do it?
The last time I added ice on my own volition was a hot summer day with Redbreast 12 cast strength. That's the
Oh,
only time I'll pretty much ever add ice to my
that
own
is
whiskey.
the ideal scenario and the
Yeah.
ideal whiskey to add ice
Yeah.
to. I
Yeah.
100% I agree. And like that was me too. The last time I drank whiskey
Mhm.
on the rocks, the last time I had a big cube and I put whiskey in there too, I was in the pool and
Nice.
I had a little pool plastic glass with a big ice cube in it
Nice.
and had whiskey in it. I was in the pool. So I want to know, listener, are you drinking whiskey with ice at all?
Yeah.
And
And
you know
there's no
what?
shame. No shame.
This one, there's going to be three options on this one. Do you do it at
Oh.
all by yourself? Do you
Mhm.
only do it when the Chill Filtered podcast tells you to
Yeah.
do
Uh-huh.
it? Or do you just never, ever do it at all,
Yeah.
like ever? We need to know. This is it.
Yeah.
And there's a bonus question this week, too, which I thought of mid
Uh-huh.
episode. And
Yeah.
that is, do you pronounce Bourye or Burrai? Are you saying
Mhm.
Bourye or are you saying burr like bourbon, Burrai? Tell us what you think.
Boo! No, I'm
Are
a
you
Burr rye
boo?
kinda guy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
I'm no, I'm Burr, yeah. It's
I
bourbon,
think I'm
bourbon rye,
I,
Burr rye.
I know. And that was the
Yeah,
conclusion that I came to. And that's why
yeah,
I started calling it Burai. But you
yeah,
bet, as soon as I found out about this High West Burai,
yeah.
I was calling it High West Burai because I
Boo
didn't understand what it
rye.
was at the time. I didn't
Uh-huh.
know anything about anything at
You
the
were a
time.
simple
So
man.
yeah, somebody could have quoted me as saying Burai maybe 2 to 3
Yeah,
years ago. So I want to know what everybody else says. Burai or
nice.
Burai? I'm going to ask that too.
No, it sounds great. Put it up. Vote on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes, or so. Just check in. Check in,
Well,
peeps.
I hope the peeps check in, and I hope the peeps tell us whether they pronounce Burai or Burai.
And I hope that they know we're either going to be drinking Belle of Bedford MGP rye at a 12-year 108.5 proof, or we're going to put it to Dark Arts 13-year MGP rye at 107.4 proof next week. So we'll put that up on Tuesday.
Very good, very sly. I hope everyone likes MGP Rise, and I hope everyone is ready for Mother's Day. I hope you're ready to have a good day with your baby mama or your mama, whoever it is. Have a good day.
Any mama. And I hope that you had that yesterday by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, yeah.
But most of all, viewers, listeners, friends, we hope that our love of whiskey lifted your spirits. Or intensive purposes. Yeah.
I knew it.